Good to be with you again on Business Live, and we're live on Joy News. Right at this time, we're bringing to you a mixed bag of business stories on this platform. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Biafi. As always, I am the host. And today's edition include banking consultant upbeat on soon to be launched call centers by the Bank of Ghana. Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) urges National Petroleum Authority (NPA) to crack the whip on all oil marketing companies which fail to present to the authority its accurate price list of various petroleum products before the beginning of every pricing window. And ADB puts in place measures to sustain interest shown following the listing of over 122 million ADB shares last Tuesday on the Ghana Stock Exchange. These are the headlines, plus other stories, all in tonight's edition of Business Live. Don't go away. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying and welcome back. Now, the Bank of Ghana is to launch call centers in some areas of Accra to bridge the information gap between the general public and the central bank. This will enhance public knowledge on the financial activities of the bank, as well as improving transparency and accountability at the central bank. But banking consultant Nana Otue Champon, however, advocates an independent financial regulator to oversee the activities of such call centers. In an interview with Joy Business, he stated the call centers will help ensure value for money. Charles Aite has more.
As the Bank of Ghana prepares for the launch of call centers to give the public direct access to information on its operations on Friday, 23rd December, banking consultant Nana Otue Champon is doubtful the centers will be effective. The bank is confident that these call centers will help boost accountability and bridge the information gap existing between the general public and the bank. In an interview with Joy Business, Nana Otue Champon argues the central bank is better off appointing an independent financial regulator to manage these centers.
The complaint section, which is presently handled by a department in the bank called ICRO, which stands for Investigation and Consumer Reporting Office. They have been handling complaints, but their interface with the public has been very limited. And so it's coming up with this scheme to expand the interface with the public, give out a free phone number where the public can complain about issues. But the Financial Ombudsman should be an independent body of the regulator, because at the moment, if you have complaints about the regulator, who do you complain to? So therefore, it's a step in the right direction, but with the incoming government, the advice will be to go the full hog and establish a legislated independent body, independent of both the regulator and the regulated, to look at complaints that people may have with the services that they are receiving from the regulated institutions, including the regulator as well. It's a question of asking who audits the auditor. So the regulator, who is, are they, if I have a complaint against the regulator because of any issue, who am I to complain to? So that independent body is existent in many jurisdictions, including the UK and the US. So it is not reinventing the wheel. It's something that is going on, and it helps the financial system to work more efficiently. So establishing that body will indeed go a long way to put more confidence in the system. It will go a long way to bring in those who have worked with their feet instead of dealing with their financial services provider, such as a bank.
He says the setting up of an independent financial ombudsman will not only cut down on operational costs, but also boost the level of transparency and accountability in the central bank.
Now, investors who purchased ADB shares during the initial public offering have witnessed some appreciable gains on their investments. This follows the listing of over 122 million ADB shares last week on the Ghana Stock Exchange. ADB's shares closed trade on Monday at 3 Ghana cedis 35 pesos, up from the actual listed price of 2 Ghana cedis 65 pesos. Speaking in an interview at a media program, Managing Director Daniel said the bank is putting in place measures to sustain this interest.
We're excited that the shares have appreciated significantly. I mean, if you started trading at 2 cedis 65 pesos and currently your shares are trading at 3 cedis 35 pesos, then clearly you agree with me that it's a significant increase, and it shows us that these shares are bound to do very well on the stock exchange, and we're excited about it as a bank.
I would ask that. So what measures are you putting in place to ensure that this appreciation is seen, because it has an impact again on the bottom line of the company?
That's true, but I mean, first of all, if investors are excited that the shares about the shares and the shares are doing very well, it means that there's something they are looking out for, and basically it means that they expect performance to be great. And I can assure you that we are putting all the necessary machinery in motion to ensure that we return good performance from the investor's perspective, and that's what we are doing. So that, I mean, if investors are hoping for us to return a particular performance and we fall below that, it will affect them. So our duty or job is to make sure that our performance is good, and that is what we continue to instill confidence in investors.
Now, still staying within the banking sector, communities within the catchment area of Atrema Kwangoma Rural Bank in the Ashanti region will continue to benefit from the bank's people-focused investment. That's an assurance from board chairman Patrick Owusu, who says health and education, infrastructure, scholarships and security will receive attention. Ohimin Teria has more.
Bank was adjudged first runner-up in corporate social responsibility behind EcoBank in the Ghana Club 100 for 2015. It comes as officials hand over a newly constructed senior high school funded by the bank to the people of Pechi No. 2. The school is presently being run by the Presby Church in the Atrema Kwangoma district. At least 60 students in second cycle and tertiary institutions receive scholarship each year from the bank, which has also built a nursing quarters for Dominasi SDA Hospital. The bank has also donated furniture to the Old Tafu Traditional Council. Mr. Owusu says the bank is committed to the well-being of its business partners.
If you operate in an area and you become successful, you have to give back to society, because without the society you cannot, you can't function in a vacuum. It is giving back to society that will enable the society to patronize you. So it is a give and take affair. Built a complete secondary school at Pechi No. 2. That one is a landmark project that we have done. We've renovated schools. One important thing we have done so far as giving back to society is scholarship award. Every year, at least, we give 25 new students scholarship to continue the education at the secondary level.
And now go ahead with your work as IMF boss, because we have confidence in you. That's the communication to Managing Director of the IMF, Christine Lagarde. This was after Executive Board of the fund met to decide on her future at a Washington-based institution. There were reports earlier that she might be asked to step aside, but at the end of the meeting, the board concluded that she should stay in office. This was after she was found guilty by a French court of negligence over payment of some $429 million to a French businessman, Bernard Tapie. Christine Lagarde says the development will allow her to focus on her job, even though she does not agree with the ruling.
I would like to publicly thank the IMF Executive Board for reaffirming its full confidence in my ability to do my job as head of the IMF. The Executive Board, representing the IMF entire membership, 189 member states, have reaffirmed their confidence and have, throughout the process of this trial and the 5 years that have preceded it, have always expressed their support, and this has indeed sustained me and given me a lot of strength. In addition to the board, the member states, including my own country, France, I would like to express my immense gratitude to the staff of the IMF. Throughout the process, and in particular in the last few days, they have been by my side, supporting me wholeheartedly, expressing their friendship, support, and sending me messages all along. The staff of the IMF is its strength, its excellence, and we have together done great work. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing to work with that extraordinary team. Now, all along, in my previous professional life and as head of the IMF, I've always discharged my duties in full responsibility, in conscience, in confidence, and with a clear focus on public interests. Throughout this ordeal that I've gone through, I have never allowed myself to be distracted from the focus of what has been my professional life in the last 5 years, the mission of the IMF and me leading the organization. This matter has lasted for 5 years, has culminated with 5 days of a very painful process. The public prosecutor has requested that the case be dismissed without charge and has very scientifically addressed the 16 various grievances that were raised. I've only partly managed to convince the magistrates of that court, a combination of professional judges and members of parliament, of the same decision to dismiss the case. I have been held negligent, but without penalty, without sanction, without registration of the decision.
That was the IMF boss, Christine Lagarde. Now, if you want to effectively deliver on your campaign promise of addressing the unemployment situation in the country, then make agriculture the centerpiece of your job creation agenda. That's the advice from Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Ken Thompson, who insists Ghana's economy can be revived rapidly if government channels more investments into the agri sector. Mr. Thompson tells Joy Business this and more commitment to tackle corruption in the public sector should yield the desired results.
But Nana should wake up every morning and say, I am going to make the farmers of this country rich. Every morning he should say to himself, and every night before he sleeps, I'll make the farmers of this country rich. I'll make the farmers of this country rich. If agriculture is not at the center of our economic revival, anything else they plan to do will fail. Maybe, let's just say maybe for argument's sake, maybe the oil price will go to $100 or whatever it is, maybe. Or maybe we'll find some more oil. And so we'll be able to deliver a Venezuelan-style economic prosperity. But unless agriculture is at the center of our development, it will fail. We need jobs. Real sector has collapsed. Agriculture, 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 full stop. And then corruption. You can see it, you can smell it, but they say there's no corruption. You have projects that cost, we spend 100 cedis on. First, the projects are sent to the wrong areas because where the project is cited is influenced more by political considerations than economic ones. Secondly, only 10 cedis of that money goes to the project, and you expect 10 cedis to pay for 100 cedis. It's not going to work. And corruption is the one thing that kills everything that we're doing.
You're still watching Business Live here on Joy News. Now, moving on, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEG) is calling on the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) to deal rigorously with oil marketing companies which fail to present to the authority an accurate price list of the various petroleum products before the beginning of every price window. According to the chamber, some OMCs in the country are charging high prices that do not tally with the list presented to the NPA at the beginning of every pricing window. It says this situation is illegal.
According to the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, the practice by some oil marketing companies, OMCs, where prices are being benchmarked with their competitors days after a new pricing window must be halted immediately if the NPA wants the Ghanaian consumer to be treated fairly in the deregulation policy. In an interview with Joy Business, head of research at the chamber, Thomas Doji, said this practice by marketing firms is against the deregulation policy. He therefore called on the National Petroleum Authority to sanction culpable companies.
OMCs are actually aware they are not supposed to form any cartel whatsoever. You don't benchmark your price again because BDCA has increased their price, then all of you will also respond accordingly. But you don't do that. What you do is that 2 days clear to the new pricing window, you feed the NPA with your indicative prices so that the moment the price, that we enter the new window, you only do accordingly. But where you see, we enter a new price window and you don't do what you had actually informed the NPA that you'll be doing, then it becomes, problematic.
He further explains how the law is supposed to work in a deregulated market without intervention of a state agency.
See, you have a law and people or the stakeholders are supposed to be operating within the law. You see, when you have an interim law that suggests that anytime there is a new pricing window, OMCs are supposed to feed you 2 days clear to the new pricing window, and they give you their indicative prices. So therefore, it just behoves on NPA to see to it that on the very day, by 16th of December, as at last Friday, prices all are supposed to actually review their prices accordingly. It should reflect on their electronic boards. But what do we see? We always see the issue of benchmarking. They are all waiting on those, we say, the major players or the big OMCs for them to adjust their prices before they also respond accordingly. And this is illegal. NPA must crack the whip so that at least it will deter people from forming what we perceive to be a cartelization. And cartelization or forming of cartel is illegal under the price deregulation regime.
The deregulation policy was introduced in June 2015 by government to allow oil marketing companies to fix prices of petroleum products.
A new project is seeking to reduce the impact of cookstove smoke on fuelwood users. Toxic smoke is responsible for half of all deaths in children under 5 years in Ghana. In a new 2-part documentary, Joy News Justice Beidu visited the central regional town of Bontrasi to see how these cookstoves work.
My name is Shalapia Kubi, the Marketing and Relations Manager for Microphone Rural Park.
Sheila works with women in Gary processing in a small town called Bontrasi.
Microphone Rural Bank partnered SNV in order to improve the lives of the clients we deal with. We realized that their cookstove, the improved cookstove, is a bit okay for the health of our clients. When I say it's okay, I mean it looks at some of the health hazards that our clients were going through when they were using the old or the traditional way of smoking gari. This time round, they have a bigger stove, the pan is big. You are able to sit at the edge of the pan to fry your gari. If you want to stand or sit or lie.
The work she does is under the Productive Use of Energy in Agro-Processing Initiative, a project by the Dutch Development Organization SNV. The project seeks to cut down the use of inefficient cookstoves that is responsible for nearly 17,000 deaths yearly, mainly from toxic smoke. Lack of funding is what stands between users like these women and improved cookstoves. So the project works with local banks like Microphone to grant credit for its purchase.
This is a farming community that is heavily reliant on agro-processing.
And so places like these where women can come and process their gari could easily be the heartbeat of the local economy. And it's the reason why the source of energy could be crucial. And with the involvement of local banks to make it possible for these women to purchase these improved cook stoves on credit, it's not just about aid money, but it's also about organizations helping local economies to trade.
The Cotonina, they 200 and 300. They don't venture Gali, a day, a BM. Yeah, Odija. Yeah, that's an on Ama Jana Dosa. Jack no go cry Naja Galina. I made and ye eater, and I eat a general woman all day, beefy, no Jacka Canady. Indeed, it on your bed. 100,000 grab, but with that gali bag, I couldn't, but my that you better could go basa. The on the of Wayapa. Oh, mamma, expenses in your expenses of the film.
These new stoves are able to reduce fuel wood waste by more than 60%. This offers hope, especially for the hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians involved in agro-processing. It is important that the needed support is given to scale this up. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Bontrace in the Central Region.
It's still live on Business Live. Let's take a quick breather here. We come back with the interview of the day. Thank you very much for staying. Welcome back. Now, Social Security and National Insurance Trust SSNIT contributors are expected to enjoy a seamless transaction and self-help service with the introduction of the Biometric Terminal, or BT, and web portal technology. The facility will ensure that contributors transact businesses with ease and in comfort. General Manager Dr. Caleb Kweku Faglo says new service is expected to provide strategies for ease compliance to help address challenges pragmatically.
The governor is the chief advisor to the president, effectively the government. And therefore, you've got to be in tune with the economic philosophy of the government in power. So if your personal philosophy is like...
People a lot of time to get into the branches, and in order to limit the queue and to bring more convenience, we saw the need to bring the biometric terminal in to be able to allow people to access their services.
So just a quick wrap of what does this terminal entails? What can I do when I move to this terminal?
You can check your statement and print a year statement. You can make corrections on your personal data. You can also call for or activate for a portal ID. Where in the portal ID, what it does, it allows you to check your other services within the comfort of your office. So immediately you put your card in and request for the portal ID. It shows up on your email. Then you'll be able to go in on your email, change your passwords, and be able to access the service itself.
Does it run 24/7 like how we have our normal ATMs run?
Technology-wise, it should run 24/7, but we are still in a pilot phase where we're only allowing from 6 to 8 o'clock. But when you request for the portal ID, you can access the whole service 24 hours, 7 days a week from the comfort of your home.
So where can I access this terminal? Is it operational everywhere starting from today?
Yes, it's operational in 19 locations. I can name a few, but you can refer to the website and also the corporate services department to tell you exactly where they are located. It's Pension House, Adabraka, Airport Branch, Legon, Tema, I think both Temas, C2 and Harbour. And then in Kumasi, Edum, then we have the Y and Tamale branches. So it's dispersed across the country, all 19.
Security-wise, how does SSNIT intend to support people who are not really IT inclined in accessing this service?
We have custodians who will always be at the location from 6 to 8 to be able to help individuals who are not really IT savvy to be able to access the service. But since we have the data protection in place, they can only help you to an extent. And we consider that in our future development of other products. So in the future, we have even SMS products that will come out that will help the people who are not really internet savvy to be able to check their statement and other services just by texting on their phones to get.
So to what extent can one get support when it moves to this now?
You get personnel support here at all our locations, and also you can call the support line, which will take you directly to the contact center to be able to walk you through the process if you have enough credit.
And that's how we end this evening's Business Live. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time, for more interesting developments in the world of business. Have a great evening.